zone on you with the pick and roll. Younger flame, he in sicko mode.
Now that I've brought on my return to YouTube, I figured we should descend into some multiversal madness created by Bleakmill. Industria is a game that takes players on a journey through a mysterious alternate reality, set in a world where the Berlin Wall never fell. The game follows the story of Nora, a woman searching for her missing colleague, Walter. As Nora, you'll explore a variety of environments, solve puzzles, bring down these strange electropunk robots created by the AI Atlas, and uncover the secrets of this strange alternate world. The team at Bleakmill put amazing effort into the stunning visuals and immersive atmosphere, but this might be the main cause of the game lacking in other departments. We'll come back to that. The game's art style is heavily inspired by a 1980s aesthetic. The team was also heavily inspired by Half-Life 2, referenced in the dev commentary provided as an option in the game. The environments are beautifully crafted, with a mix of industrial and surreal elements that create a unique setting with a beautifully crafted picture of what Berlin could have been like if the Berlin Wall didn't fall. Unfortunately, there are times when this immersion can be cut from the player, with certain terrains not being filled in fully and more. There are also so many issues with the optimization of this game. I'm not running the best hardware. I have a Ryzen 7 3700 and a 3-year-old 2070. The game starts with everything enabled on Ultra, with ray tracing enabled. I decided to push this 2021 game to its limits, and the stuttering was awful. I tested this further, setting it lower and lower, but still the stuttering persisted. And upon further research in the community tab on Steam, it appears to be a memory leak, regardless of the CPU and GPU setup. This is so unfortunate for this game. It is insanely beautiful, but the poor optimization just ruins the experience at times. Industria's score is possibly one of my favorites in all of indie games in general. The haunting synth-driven score perfectly complements the game's electropunk visuals and adds an extra layer of depth for the overall experience. The score is quite amazing. There are so many levels of depth involved, and this is immediately shown to us at the beginning of the game. There are moments in Industria where the music loops around to different variations of the song. The composer over at Bleakmill did this to create more suspense and make it more mysterious for the player. Here, just take a quick listen to this soundtrack. Industria's gameplay primarily revolves around exploration, puzzle solving, and combat. The puzzles are unfortunately bleak and consist of one idea, being used once or twice, but it is usually the former. The combat handles pretty well for an action-adventure puzzle game. This is a shooter, but for some reason it's also a fucking horror game. The number of times I jumped when encountering these mannequin bastards was too many, and I know the devs did it on purpose. Ultimately, the shooter aspect boils down to 5 weapons: a pickaxe, a pistol, an SMG, a rifle, and a shotgun, with 5 enemy types. A rusted down machine, most likely intended for industrial use before being used to destroy this world. Quite literally a walking fucking bomb. A soldier, and a robo-dog most likely used in forestry. But also some fucked up mannequins that make this game a horror game. The story of Industria is... oh god. It's just all over the place. The pacing is strange, and the connections of the characters are so lost. If you don't want spoilers, skip to here. Christ, where do I begin? Industria is split into 5 chapters. 1 and 5 are the shortest chapters. In the beginning, we play Nora in 1989 Germany. She picks up a phone call from Walter. We don't know who he is or how he exactly fits into all of this yet. All we know is he is a coworker and is on his way to get the reactor under control. Nora turns on her TV, where there is an announcement playing of a government official announcing the Berlin Wall has fallen. Nora then gets up on her feet, and we gain control of our protagonist. Upon exiting the apartment, we are introduced to the Stasi trying to de-escalate a reactor meltdown in the Atlas compound. The Stasi were around during the time frame of 1957 to 1989, and was a secret police organization within East Germany. Unfortunately, we do not get a connection between the Stasi and Atlas. We are left wondering, why is the Stasi in connection with Atlas? Why are they stopping this potentially dangerous reactor now? After the border has just been opened. Unfortunately, this idea is not explored more, as we now enter the Atlas office.
Where is everyone?
We are greeted by this office setting, but the ground is shaking and the music is building, driving us to explore further into the compound. We grab a key from Walter's office and open a locked door. Upon entering this door, we are shown a decontamination area of objects that were sent through or pulled through the reactor. One of these items is a whale from a game jam entry called Jonathan's Whale, also made by Bleakmill. After we are done looking through the decontamination areas and the items that were put in the area, we go towards the platform that shows us the reactor. This is where the tension hits its climax. We walk through a bleak office building to find this massive reactor hidden away. We climb the reactor and enter it, but we don't find Walter there upon entering. Nora comments that he is a beautiful idiot, and we begin the initiation sequence. Nora starts floating into the light as if it's a Travis Scott Fortnite event. This is where the dream sequences begin. These sequences begin at the end of every chapter. I genuinely could not wrap my head around these. We wake up in an office, and there's mumbling. It's black and white and bleak. In the beginning, it creates a sense of mystery, but further down the line, it just throws any story out the window. We enter this doorway, and it is slammed shut behind us. So we continue down the hall and enter this theater. We are treated to a play, but it doesn't exactly help the story. Walter walks out on stage and starts levitating into the roof. Nora then follows suit, but once again, it just looks wrong. We exit the theater through a doorway on our left and leave the dream state. Chapter 2. We wake up in a strange, abandoned place. We don't know where we are, but we know this place is run down and has been abandoned for quite some time. We open some doors and encounter our first enemy. We enter the doorway to our right, pick up a pickaxe. This feels flimsy in Nora's hands. She worked on a reactor, but is put in a combat situation. Regardless, we press forward. Examining our surroundings, we continue down our path and see two of these robots. It feels like this is going to be our first combat section until we approach, and a new character in a wheelchair caps the lights off the bots. Nora fails to interrogate our new ally, as he tells us we best get the power on and leave ASAP. We approach the handwheel to open the door, but it is rusted, so we explore the area. We enter a classroom-like area where there's a diagram to make phosphoric acid to remove the rust. We need to find apatite and sulfuric acid. We enter a room behind the chalkboard to grab the apatite and go across the main hallway to grab the sulfuric acid. We return to the chemical boiler and place our ingredients as instructed by the diagram, and we now have our chemical to remove the rust and push forward. We are greeted by some steam-powered machines, so we continue down the path, grab some matches, start the water, roll in some coal, light the coal, and open the steam control valve. We exit the area grabbing some resources on our way back. As we enter the hall, we are greeted by two automata. Now this is where our combat is poorly introduced. I played this in hardcore mode. I went after these guys throwing my pickaxe around at them and died 3 times. This is when I figured out the game expects you to avoid them. This isn't a stealth game, but the fact they want you to go around these automata to the elevator feels very janky. We avoid the automata and go up the elevator. Upon going up, we get our first firearm, a .45 caliber pistol, and continue down our path. Take down another few automata with our pistol, and grab some boxes to jump up to a higher platform. We then scare our ally by picking up a large car battery-sized radio. Nora and the stranger exchange information. No one has willingly or unwillingly entered this place for 20 years. We now discover we are in the kingdom of Hakavik, a city that has been abandoned for 10 years. The stranger then tells us the reactor hasn't been activated for quite some time, and that we are of the first within that 20-year timeline to enter this place. This approximately placed our main character in 2002. We then descend a common stairwell, climb a ladder in an elevator shaft, and enter a cafe. Explore for resources, and exit the rundown complex. End scene. Dream Sequence 2 puts us further away from the doorway. Rinse and repeat. New whisperings that sound like Nora and Walter, bodies falling endlessly, and we enter the hallway. A new play begins with Walter descending onto the floor, and he sits in a chair. No other knowledge is given to us. This could be foreshadowing that Walter is waiting for Nora to find him. Chapter 3. Nora exits onto a city street with a lot of wires displaced everywhere in a broken city. The stranger sends us to the town hall, We explore for resources, eliminate some automata, and are introduced to our newest enemy type, the Soldier. The Soldier inaccurately rains fire upon us. We gun him down and remove a core from this pump. I am unsure of what this is besides being a repeater or generator pushing electricity to the blockade. A bridge drops and we cross the barricade to grab our second firearm, a 9mm SMG. We drop down. We are now very quickly introduced to our third enemy type, a sprinting bomb. We press further, take down a few more bombs, and the stranger gives us more information on the Atlas-Hakovic War. Nora asks the stranger what happened and where everyone is. No one has been here for a long, long time. 10 years after the slow invasion by the rogue Atlas AI escalated to a full-on war, Hakovic was evacuated. We are then introduced to the fact Hakovic was ruled by a king named Rosendahl, another person who was transported through to this world. And this raises the question of if this is Walter or not. The stranger says he wasn't strong enough to fend off the rogue AI. And Nora finishes the dialogue by saying she needs to think and that our stranger should go drink tea. We continue through this apartment, grab our next firearm, a shotgun, bring down some more automata, and end the scene. Continuing into our next area, the stranger plays a tape he finds, and it is revealed nearly 5 minutes after being introduced to the mystery of Rosendahl that Rosendahl and Walter are the same person. Nora walks up to the statue, gets furious, and the stranger then realizes that Nora is looking for who he knows is Rosendahl. The cutscene ends, and we follow the wires to the left, entering another cafe. We go to grab the elixir, and Jesus Christ, what is that? God, that scared me. We are now introduced to the next enemy type, the Mannequin Runner, that are optimally placed in spots to scare the ever-loving shit out of you. Your handgun and SMG do not do a lot of damage to these automata. The shotgun is your best shot at taking them down. We go through the back exit of the cafe, take down some soldiers and remove the core of this generator. Return to the cafe, take down another mannequin and an automata, exit the cafe and go to the other side of the statue. Take out 2 more soldiers and enter another building, break some boards and take down another automata, many walking bombs, and a soldier. We remove the core, go back, and there is now a swarm of bombs, soldiers, and automata, so we sprint up the barricade, take down any machines that have followed us, and progress further towards the town hall. We are now inside an electrical facility. The stranger asks Nora what her relationship to Walter is. It is now revealed to us that Nora and Walter are lovers, therefore making her the queen, and the stranger her subject. We continue to take down some bombs, head up the stairs, grab a hand wheel, return to the shutter at the start of the stairs, place the wheel, and enter the doorway. We are now at the base of the town hall and receive our next weapon, a rifle. So we use that rifle to our advantage, gun down some soldiers, make our way down to the street, take out some bombs and automata. The scenery going up to the town hall here is phenomenal. It really shows us the scale of the Atlas invasion in Hakovic. We make our way up the street and take down more soldiers, bots, and automata to reach the top of the stairs. We finally made it to the town hall. Maybe here we can find some answers. The visuals and atmosphere in the town hall is something to admire. It looks extremely lived in, it's old, and it's been 10 years since the evacuation. But it seems like someone has been here fairly recently. We then enter Walter's office where we find a map that was planned out for the evacuation. The stranger tells us we need water and coal to make the train run, as it is somewhat in working condition still. I really hate that this was said, but I'll get into that in a bit. We exit the office and continue down a road taking out some automata and bombs. We do some platforming to make it down to the rail tracks, take out some more machines, and climb a ladder to cross some of the train cars, and make it to the steam engine. There's some texture issues here, as some of the environment has open holes in it. It makes the area feel a little unfinished. Now the reason why I hate this area is that previously in Walter's office, the stranger tells us we need coal and water to get the steam engine running. But this is not explored at all. Not a single bit. You would think because you have an inventory to collect items like at the beginning with the chemical compounds, you would be using it here. But you don't. It is extremely unfortunate, but I don't want to rip on the devs too much for this. I just feel like some more could have been done here to give us more immersion. Like, why don't we explore the train cars, taking out some more of the automata to get some coal for the engine? Why don't we find a puzzle to get water connected to the engine? It's quite unfortunate that the gameplay does not weave into the story at times. Regardless of some issues with this area, we enter the steam engine and start it up. This ends chapter 3 and we begin our next dream sequence. Rinse and repeat again. Start further away from the door, enter the hall, go to the theater. This time Walter walks on stage and drops a ball, which then grows. Perhaps this is him planting the seed that is the Atlas AI that leads to the destruction of this world. We then exit the sequence. Chapter 4 puts us on this beach. The gates we need to be open to progress are shut, so we leave the steam engine, go down to the beach, and finally, our characters introduce each other. We learn the stranger's name is Brent. Brent was injured during the fall of Hakavik and was being treated at a hospital shortly before the evacuation order. He was left behind and left debilitated. Brent then asks Nora for a favor. He wants us to retrieve something of his from his old apartment building. Nora obliges to the request. We continue through the station killing some automata, and oh my god, more of these fucks, why? Sorry, these things scare the hell out of me. Anyways, we go down the stairs, grab some resources, and go back up to progress. We are now introduced to our final enemy type. These robot dogs with saws on their faces, most likely used for forestry. They work in packs but are relatively easy to get rid of. We go down another set of stairs, take down more robo dogs, and take out some soldiers. We make an attempt to cross the bridge, but it collapses underneath us. Nora wakes up from collapsing, but our communication is cut short to Brent. We are now left alone. But we continue on our path into an underground facility, pull a lever to enter the facility, take out some automata with a rifle, and pull another lever on the right side of the facility to initiate the platform sequence. We then take out some more mannequins and bombs, in the dark nevertheless. We go up the other set of stairs and pull one more lever. This is when all hell breaks loose. We are met by an onslaught of automata, bombs, and mannequins. I died way too many times here. And not because I'm not having any resources, they just don't stop coming at you. You have to fight off what feels like an endless amount of enemies. Once you finally create a path through, you can enter the elevator and go up. Upon going up, we exit the facility and find Brent's building, and make our way up to the top, taking out some more automata on the way. Once we reach the top, connection with Brent is re-established. We go through what was once his greenhouse, climb a ladder, and what in good lord is that? Please don't tell me this is literally all just a dream. So help me. Anyways, we pull the lever some more, and the thing disappears once the power to the locked door is on. Nora enters the apartment, and Brent asks Nora to describe the area. Nora points out some views and details of the apartment, with the final one being a picture. Brent asks Nora to take that picture with her to the sea, as that is where Brent's wife's grave rests. We exit the apartment and go down the building, taking out more automata. Once exiting, we, guess again, take out some more automata, and scavenge the area. We then climb some boxes on top of a train car and enter the station once again, opening the gate that was stopping us from getting further. We go down and hop on the steam engine. We start up the steam engine, and Brent and Nora say their goodbyes as Nora is leaving and the radio connection is about to be severed. Nora thanks Brent for the help, and Brent shows his appreciation to hear another human voice after so many years alone. This is the end of chapter 4 and begins our final dream sequence. You'll see why I said it like that in chapter 5. Do I have to say it again? I do. Ugh, okay. Once again, rinse and repeat. We start at the furthest point away from the hall. This time, in the hall, there are lights scattered on the floor. We enter the theater and witness Walter connected to that huge ball. Is he connected to the AI? As we ask ourselves this question, he walks off stage. We can leave the last dream sequence. Oh man. Chapter 5. The visuals here are stunning, and the forestry with the electropunk machines in the back is quite amazing. But regardless, we go back on track towards a house. There's an Atlas computer here from Berlin? Wait, a lot of tech from Berlin is here. Why? Was it brought through with us? This makes no sense. We continue up to another house on the beach, hopefully finding an answer to all of our questions. Upon entering the house, we see Walter on the bed hooked up to machines. Nora is distraught by this. Walter then appears in the doorway we just entered? Wait, why is the dream sequence in this world blending together? Walter tells us he didn't prevent the Atlas AI from going haywire at the beginning of the game, having given Atlas total freedom to gain knowledge, which came with a heavy price. Now, try and follow with me here as I try to wrap my own head around this. The GDR made an agreement with Atlas as a company, and the Atlas AI. When the Berlin Wall fell, the Atlas AI went haywire, causing the reactor to melt down. Walter then says he entered the reactor to see what the damage would have been. He assumed the position of King Rosendahl, and not informing the people of Hakavik that the reason this happened is because of him. So in order to redeem himself in this world, he connected himself to the virtual space of the Atlas AI to fight it off. He is now a parasite to the AI, as the AI is a parasite to this world. Nora begs Walter to remove himself from the machine, but Walter says he has to do this for the better of this world. We now also find out that these beings that were falling in the dream state, and what was seen at the top of Brent's building, are called librarians? Nora descends onto a stage, asking where she has been for 20 years. Walter apologizes to Nora and tells her they will see each other again, with Nora begging Walter not to leave. The stage curtains close, and scene.
Oh, for real? On guard? Just like that?
What the fuck? This just left me with more questions than answers. Is this all a nightmare taking place in Nora's head? If not, who is Atlas as a company? Why were the Stasi trying to stop it? What is the purpose of the librarians? Why didn't we get to fulfill Brent's request? Why is Walter doing all of this? These are only some of the questions that I have that were left at the end of this game. And that is very unfortunate, as not even the documents I picked up along the way gave insight into this world and what happened. All it gave me was information for the events leading up to the invasion of Hakavik. The pacing is all over the place. We get the entire arsenal of weapons within the first hour of the game. This game only took me 4 hours to complete on my first run, and we have an unfulfilled request from our third character of the game. It's just so flawed in the story, and ever so slightly flawed in the enemy and combat departments. Now, I'm not going to say this game isn't worth it for the price. Yes, it has its pacing issues and optimization issues, but it doesn't make the game unplayable. Is 23 Canadian dollars a little steep for this game? I don't know. I got it in a Humble Bundle, so I can't exactly complain about this. With that being said, Industria is a captivating, immersive first-person adventure game that offers a unique blend of exploration and combat. This game can be lacking in some departments, such as pacing issues, and occasionally clunky combat that can sometimes succeed in mimicking the feel of the BioShock games. But in that same sense, Industria's stunning Half-Life 2-esque visuals, atmospheric soundtrack, and somewhat engaging story make it a worthwhile experience for fans of the genre, and those looking for a fresh, exciting gaming experience, even if the experience can be short-lived at times. We finally made it to the... Oh. This just left me with more... Oh, for real? On God? Just like that. This is when all hell breaks loose. We are met by an... fuck. Words. Bard is the word. Fuck. God damn it. Evacuation order. He was left behind and climb some boxes on top of a train car. Onto the top of a train car. Words. Junction. Words, trains,